You guys know me so well, running out of video ideas, so I come back to Miraculous. It's currently airing, so it's pretty easy to come back to. I mean, I could always do a Simpsons or South Park video, but, they don't really have a lot going on. Well, South Park does, but it doesn't feel like my place to make a video on it. Anyway, this is going to be a follow-up to my Miraculous Season 6 video. I'll give basic recaps and general thoughts unless it's an episode I have major thoughts on. I'll try to discuss them in the order of the episode count, but the show kinda doesn't release in order, so I might get confused in places. And even in order this season technically isn't in order, and I feel like it's just an excuse for contrivances. If you remember from the last video, I loved the first two seasons, thought season 3 was hit or miss, thought season 4 was the bottom of the barrel, and then was shocked to learn how bad season 5 was. And now season 6 has really been surprising me. It's hard to compare to the first two seasons because it's so different. It does feel closer in line to what season 5 wanted to be, but actually good. There's still some issues like bad dialogue, but stuff like that is a bit nitpicky. Like, yeah, it could sound better, but it's not going to destroy my viewing experience if they talk a bit weird. I mean, we've come a long way from season 4 and 5. I swear with those seasons, they were waiting for the episodes to release, fans to translate them, and then they'd use those translations for the dubs. Like so many times when characters got called the wrong gender and two of them got snuck into season 5, or like when instead of calling her BFF, Alia calls herself Marinette's BF in the world, and that got into the English dub as well. Like, how is that getting approved? Anyway, I'm going to give each episode a ranking out of 10, but I'm going to do it the logical way, where 5 is the middle ground. So from 6 onward means it's pretty good. I find nowadays 6 means bad, 7 means middle ground, and then 8 to 10 are good. Anything under 6 barely even gets touched if it's abysmal. The first episode of the season is Climatic Queen. It's alright. It's just stormy weather but with mind control. Like, the setup is pretty similar. I do think it's different enough. Aurora does have a better support system in Aggress, or arguably worse if this girl ends up being Lila, which is a common theory. I do think she's just a red herring, or is at least working with her. Also, I know her name is Aggress A, but that sounds awful, so she's just Aggress to me. Sorry, not sorry. There's not much to say on this episode. I mean, despite feeling like a repeat, the surrounding content differentiates itself enough to feel original at the same time, which was a big issue in the earlier seasons. Despite how much they tried to shake up the actual episodes, they were hitting the exact same beats for certain characters. At least Aurora had a different lesson to learn, unlike Julika, where she was learning the same thing every time she had an episode, just with a different coat of paint around her. They needed to focus on changing what was happening to Julika instead of what was happening around her. Anyway, this episode is a solid 6. It's fine. The next episode on the list is Sleeping Siren, and I'm not a fan. Of all characters, it feels like Kim's the only one to not improve. This episode just feels like busy work. The fight scenes and the villain are interesting enough, but Kim just annoys me because it feels like they want to go out of their way to turn the fandom against him, but at the same time, they want him to be the lovable idiot. Kim as a character needed so much work done after season 5, and I was excited for this episode until it actually came out. Even throughout the akumatization, he's just an idiot. This episode is like a 4. It's just awful. I hate it more than sublimation, which honestly, I didn't even hate that. That just seems to be the common opinion. Then we have Toro DP Pedro, which is impossible to pronounce, which is a great episode. Honestly, seeing a character who was in prison was kind of crazy. And then the second he got out, he tried to steal the Mona Lisa. Also being Ivan's father was intriguing. Jesus Christ, this is confusing me. I just wish the show could have started exploring these characters and their backgrounds sooner. It is kind of weird just to see them all of a sudden getting fleshed out when there was like only a total of 3 of them who were continuously getting focused on. The rest were lucky to even have a parent in the picture. Marinette's subplot with the letter is interesting too. Weird to see Marinette and Natalie kind of switch sides, although it is interesting to see Marinette think she might be doing the wrong thing. Also, I thought the Secret Society thing was a bit contrived. I'll give the episode a 6. I wish it could have been a bit more original. It reminded me a bit of Daddy Cop, especially the Ivan trying to renounce his Miraculous bit. Now, Vampagami, and wow, I love this episode. I've seen people trying to say this is the episode that doesn't feel original just based off the fact that it's a musical villain. They compare it to Frightening Gale, which, it's nothing like her. She wasn't even musical, she was just making people dance and rhyme. I have been saying, if anything, it's closer to the Reflector Princess Fragrance combo we've seen in their team-up episodes, but that's just made people say, okay, it's all 3 of those villains put together, and I'm like, oh, I didn't help its case, did I? But moving on from that, the episode is really fun, has a lot of iconic moments, and it shows Lila starting to suspect that Marinette is Ladybug, and that she's working with Mrs. Tsurugi. One of the biggest downsides to not seeing Lila often is her development is starting to feel a little contrived. I want to know how she started to suspect this. The episodes are supposedly not in order, and there's a puzzle to put together once the whole season is out. But I'm used to Miraculous having a lot of plot points happen off-screen anyway, so I won't be surprised if there is no answer. Also, the song from Prem is a little weird. It feels like cultural appropriation. Sorry, the recording sounds a bit weird there. I had to do like 20 takes on that. But saying the whole sentence, I just couldn't get it to work, so I had to say the 2 words at the end. Anyway, yeah, a bit weird of a scene to introduce this character who I assume is Indian in. 8 out of 10. Honestly, this is probably as high as the episodes are gonna get. Now we move on to Mr. Aggress, another great episode, but it has a bit too much going on. We're jumping from point A to point B to point C, back to point A. Like, it just feels like a race and they don't give us time to breathe. And then to top it all off, they reveal Luca's fake Brazilian girlfriend, which everyone was hoping was fake, and she has a magic jewel that I assume is not a Miraculous based off how much Thomas has been going off on Twitter about how that is not a Kwame. Like, the show doesn't give answers, but then when fans don't know the answers, he gets so upset over it. Like, if your show's not saying it, how are people meant to know that's not a Kwame? It was like with the Tokyo special, I think someone called them like a Kwame-like creature, and he was like, sprites. They're called sprites. Like, I imagine the show's probably going to give us answers eventually, but we can't just know if you're not telling us. Which, yeah, with Luca in Brazil, I really hate that they're writing these powerful characters out with stupid melodrama, like Alex's identity being public, so she must hide the rabbit Miraculous in the burrow. Or Luca still having feelings for Marinette, so he runs off and gets a fake girlfriend. So now these characters can only appear in certain capacities. I get it's to avoid having Ladybug call out these powerful heroes every fight, but surely they can just live in Paris. Like, say Marinette's struggling so bad, and she needs one of them, but have it be that they can't show up for some reason. It's better than just having them not be around the cast. 6 out of 10. It's an okay episode, it just has way too much going on. Was nice to see how someone would react to learning Marinette's secret about Gabriel, at least. The Dark Castle doesn't have a lot happen, especially considering it's an Alex episode. Another fine episode, but I feel like they could have found a better person to be the Dark Castle or just not have a villain at all in this episode. Especially since it feels like the episode does just kind of divert out of nowhere to face the villain. I mean, the villain was set up throughout, but then it kind of just materializes halfway through. I don't have much to say about this episode other than it was fine and the fight scene was cool. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It probably could have done more to draw people in. Reckless Driver is another fun episode that I don't have much to talk about. Definitely on the more boring side of episodes we've gotten, 5 out of 10. I mean, the episode has a nice message, just not really the episode for me. It was nice to see the first Akumatized villain, and it adds more suspicion to Aggress. I mean, I do like that they showed therapy is not this magical solution, but at the same time, it's just really boring. Next is Yatsi Gozen, which was kind of set up in Vampagami, but because Vampagami came out after it, it made it feel like the episode wasn't set up at all. I'm glad it was. I mean, the Tomoe twist still feels a little out of nowhere, but at least a short reveal at the end of Vampagami makes it a little better. This episode was pretty good. I feel like the dialogue was just lacking at times. The show is originally in French, so I guess I can't expect all the dialogue to be perfect all the time, but it just sounds so unnatural sometimes. It was nice to see Lila again. I just still think the twist of her working with Tomoe was a bit out of nowhere, especially since it implies they've been working together since at least the season 5 finale, and we never got any hints. Still better than when it was revealed she was working with Gabriel out of nowhere, so I feel like it gets pity points for at least being better than season 5. Also, the ending confuses me. Kagami and Felix just decide to keep their rings. Doesn't feel like anything happens that inspires them to do this. Like, I get the romantic sentiment and all, but at the same time, wasn't the whole problem that people could steal the rings and kill them? Like, they've kind of just skipped over the idea for a romantic message. Great episode, dialogue was a bit poor, and the plot was a bit confusing / contrived. So this does bring it down for me a little, still a 7 out of 10. Honestly, I'm just not ready to call it the best episode of the season like everyone else has been. Grand Diaper. I'm surprised how interesting this episode actually was, and that season 6 has actually been making me like Zoe. At times it still feels like her story is just to be the nice Chloe without actually redeeming Chloe. especially this episode, but they still have managed to get Zoe to grow on me. They just need to stop meandering on the Chloe is horrible stuff. They had become pretty good at taking her back to her roots for season 6, but this episode shows nothing is going to change and she was back to being full bully for this episode. I mean, at the very least, she wasn't evil incarnate. Anyways, Zoe anti-hero stuff was interesting, and I'm interested to see what consequences she will face when Ladybug finds out. Honestly, another 7 out of 10 would be higher if Andre wasn't here. The Ruler. Honestly, it's another one I don't have much to say on. I mean, it's a fun episode, and the Nathaniel and Mark relationship is hinted at more than ever, like to the point where it's just blatantly obvious. But I don't know, Marinette's subplot about being sick was kind of boring and annoying, and I'm getting tired of all these bad parents. 8 out of 10, I just don't have much to say on it. Noah, I don't know how to say it. I like the idea, but the execution is atrocious. This feels like a season 5 episode, and that is not a compliment. The Milan plot was good, just a little boring. This whole secret society stuff seemed intriguing when it was revealed, and it still is, but in this episode, it's annoying and contrived. But as I said, I am still interested in what could happen in the future. I just found it annoying in this episode, especially when they ripped out Chloe's new brother and he's just running around doing stuff like getting Nadia fired. They have said there's going to be like zero depth to him and that he's just going to be annoying the whole time so that no one gets attached and there's arguments like with Chloe. He's just going to be evil incarnate from the start, which doesn't bother me because that's what you do with a character. You don't get people to like them and then reveal that they're awful. But yeah, it just feels like everything's coming out of nowhere, and I get they're a secret society and can pull strings and probably do whatever they want, but it just feels so contrived. And so far, this is my least favourite episode of the season. I was talking about it with a couple of my friends, and they're like, come on, it's not that bad, I liked it. And I was like, oh, you guys are washed. And then they rewatched it, and they were like, oh, never mind, you were right. Honestly, 3 out of 10. Maybe I'm missing something and the double somehow make the episode better, but I'm not holding out hope. This season has definitely been better than its predecessors. I mean, season 4 and 5's episodes were mostly misses. I mean, they'd have like 1 or 2 good episodes. So far season 6 has mostly been good with a couple stinkers. Just praying the finale is good because that'll definitely be the make or break of the season. But with that, I'm gonna go wait for more episodes. I'll likely do a follow-up video once the last 10 episodes are out to fill a video slot. Don't forget to like and subscribe and maybe leave a cheeky little comment because they're hard to get.